Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain. I'm Rachel, with coffee, with books, no rain, but hey, that is totally fine. And we are having an awesome day on this end. I did go out, had to run to Target for just a bit to go get a few things, and got me a coffee, afternoon coffee, while I was there. So, having said that, let us dive into the first book that I am going to review today, and it is The Consuming Fire by John Scalzi. This is the Interdependency #1. Now, the first one in this series I just recently did, and I really love this series. It is only 3 books. The first one is The Collapsing Empire, then it's The Consuming Fire, and then the third, that I will also finish on my Audible account and review, is The Last Emperor. Because when I read the summary that's in Goodreads for I think The Collapsing Empire, it's very funny that the summary calls our main character Empress, and the book makes it very clear that Emperor is a gender neutral title, and I don't know why they put, because I mean our main character, she is really kind of, I mean, I think she's bisexual, but she does have this big crush on Marsh. Marsh? I think his name is Marsh. In the anyway, love this book. But let us dive into this summary real quick and we will go into my thoughts. The Interdependency's human interstellar empire is on the verge of collapse. The extra-dimensional conduit that makes travel between the stars possible is disappearing, leaving the entire system and human civilization stranded. Emperor Greyland II of the Interdependency is ready to take desperate measures to help ensure the survival of billions. But arrayed before her are those who believe the collapse of the flow is a myth, or at the very least, an opportunity to ascend to power. When Greyland prepares for disasters, others are preparing for a civil war, a war that will take place in the halls of power, the markets of business, and the altars of worship, as much as it will between spaceships and battlefields. The Emperor and her allies are smart and resourceful, as are her enemies. Nothing about this will be easy, and all of humanity will be caught in its consuming fire. It is considered sci-fi fantasy fiction, space, sci-fi fantasy, and this one I did have in audiobook. I had the whole trilogy in audiobook, which is one of the reasons I'm re-listening to it, just because I was kind of in the mood for some really good sci-fi. And so I find this series to be very smart, very witty, and humorous, but not as heavy as some space epics. I think that's one of the reasons that I like it. Because even though you pick up like the paperback book, and I have Collapsing Empire on my shelf in the other room, I should have brought it with me just so I could show you. It goes really quickly. Even the audiobooks are under 7 hours, so they do go very fast. This book, book number 2, was published October 16th of 2018. There we go. And it does say it's only about 300 pages in the Kindle edition. So there you go as well. I like that it's kind of funny that John Scalzi's about the author says, John Scalzi, having declared his absolute boredom with biographies, disappeared in a puff of glitter and lilac scent. That's it. I love it. It's fantastic. But let's just dive into this book real quick and we will go from there. Now, one of the other reviews that I looked at when I was writing my own said that this was John Scalzi's Dune series. I'm not fully sure I agree. I don't find the same level of smart wit and tongue-in-cheek moments as I do within this particular book. Now, yes, I would consider Dune to be a much heavier read, like, I guess denser in its content and the lore in the world, and really having to put yourself beyond the thought of humanity into other races and other races, other worlds, that sort of thing. it's much more epic in its content, and the Dune books are amazing and I do love them, but I find that they are heavier in their content, which takes a little bit more understanding. For these, it's really about humans who have been in space for millennia. So we aren't, except for in this book, we aren't really dealing with too many alien races. And so we aren't even dealing with other planets other than one called the End. And that is the only one of this interdependency that seems to be an actual planet. Everything else is almost like a hub in space that is connected to other hubs in space. Now, End is the only planet that they've been able to find that's habitable by humanity. Some planets, they have to be deep underground because it's like tide locked, which means that the same side is facing to the sun every time it moves around. Same way our moon is tide locked to us. We always see the same side. I found that Scalzi does find his pacing a little bit better in this particular book. I think the first one really just establishes kind of everything that's going on, letting us know that there is this flow and it's kind of like a river, not really like a river. But if you read it, you'll understand what I'm saying. That helps with almost interdimensional travel. Such a tongue twister. In this one, we don't focus so much on that particular science of it. We are really working with people problems in this particular book. Now, Greyland has been already targeted by several people, as you know, they're trying to assassinate her. It's not going well, but Greyland is so mad. She's a younger girl, and when I say younger girl, it feels as though and it's probably been said in one of those other, in like the first book, and I'm blanking, but I'm feeling like she's like late 20s, early 30s. But she has a great brain for this particular game that's being played. And she's not so much, she doesn't care about the power, though she does seem to know very, very well how to use it. And so with all of that being said, she puts the right people around her, starts stirring the pot correctly, and on the other hand, we had the Nohamapetan family, who are very power hungry. They want to be the next emperors of this realm. They want to take her off the throne and insert their family into this like status. Argos is trying to make a bed, so he's scritching on the bed. If you hear that, I don't know if you can, but of course that's what I'm looking over at. He's trying to get the blanket so he can scritch it up and sleep on it, I think. However, the Nohamapetans are like, we have three of them. We have Mother Nohamapetan, Daughter Nohamapetan, and we have Son who's still alive, Nohamapetan. Now, Grinny, the son, is way out on End, trying to do his own thing, where he's trying to take over the dukedom that is over on that particular planet. He feels like, okay, well, this is the first step. I'll take over this planet, and it will be mine after I've helped everybody like get their comeuppance. Actually, he's been helping the rebels so he could knock the previous duke off his throne, and then he could come in and just so happened to be in the right place at the right time, of course. But Nadashi is the daughter, and then there's just Countess Nohamapetan, who's the mother. Nadashi is very smart, but she gets thrown in prison for a little bit, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But then we have the Countess Nohamapetan, who is really, really a garbage human being, and so I can absolutely see where her children get it. And Cardinia is Emperor Greyland, but Cardinia is her name to her friends. She kind of realizes, okay, this is a game to be played. We have to play it correctly. And so one of her previous ancestors, like the very first Emperor Rakella, she had prophecies that would come to pass, and so she made these statements, and ultimately they came to pass, and so they made her a prophet. The thing is that her family had put a lot of that already in motion. So when they came to pass, it was due to the machinations of her family. But then when they were like, oh, all hail Raquella, because she knew what was going to happen, it's like, well, yeah, because they were the ones who set up the dominoes in that way. So, it really is just this big game of like who can get the better over everyone else. Now, Cardinia / Greyland, our emperor, she is really trying her very best to be smart about how she can protect the people of the empire. She would like to figure out how we can help as many people survive as possible. Her intentions are good, and she has some people in her corner who are working really hard to make that happen. However, the Nohamapetans and many other people, such as like religious figures and things like that, they would rather keep their power than try to protect the people. They feel like, oh, well, if I lose any face in front of the people, then I've lost my ability to kind of, I guess, sway people. So they don't want that to happen, and they are scheming on their own. It is really fascinating, some of the things that come to light in this particular book. I feel like the pacing from the first book, like I said, was a little bit more world building, but then we really built up some steam like in that second half of the book when we had kind of all the groundwork laid. In this book, we really get to move forward at a really steady pace. I feel like Scalzi knows exactly where this series was going by the time he wrote this book, and he knows what's going to happen in the third book. So he took these 300 pages to tell a great sci-fi story. And again, I love it. Characters with dark agendas, good agendas. I mean, some of them are absolutely crazy people. And of course, you have people backstabbing other people, all this sort of stuff. Everything you would kind of want in this space series. Again, witty, sassy, sarcastic, all of those really great words. When you're looking for a book that's got complexity to the characters and the story, it's not just a kingdom on the brink of collapse. It's got so many more pieces involved. This is only the second book in the series, so you're gonna have to wait till the third one when I review it to really kind of find out what more happens. But I will say, there are some really good twists in this particular book, and I think Cardinia really grows as the Emperor. I think she really finds her footing in this particular one. In the first one, she was kind of struggling with figuring out exactly the type of emperor she wanted to be, getting her footing with regards to this was not a role that she expected to have, and now she's in it very quickly. But there's a lot of things kind of competing for your attention at one time, but I don't feel like that's overwhelming. I feel like because it's only 300 pages and not like a 600-page book, we get enough to really make it move forward quickly and be pretty understandable. I like this series. This is why I listen to it again and have it on my Audible account, because I just find that when I need a good sassy sardonic sort of series, this is the one I kind of go towards. And sure, I probably should pick up The Old Man's War again. I think I have a couple books on my shelves. I know I've talked about Zoe's Tale, which is probably still over here on the shelf. But I should probably go ahead and just dive into Old Man's War again so I can refresh myself. Because according to somebody, now this is something I just kind of forgot, this is connected to the Old Man's War world. And I think because it's been so long since I've actually physically read The Old Man's War that I should probably get it on the Kindle app so I can just dive into it that way. Who knows? But it does go quick. I think it grabs your attention fast, but don't read this one without having read The Collapsing Empire. You're going to want everything that happens in that book so you really understand what's going on in this one. And you don't want to read The Last Emperor without having read the other two. You won't know how we got there if you just dive straight to the end. You'll know where we're going, but you don't know the drive it took to get us here. But I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't think I told you guys any spoilers, and I always try my best to keep it as spoiler free as possible. Heck, if you ever want spoilers, just let me know, and I'll try my best to remember to put them in the title. There was one review I did. I think I did like the first 300 or 400 pages of Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson before I did a bigger. But anyway, people said I gave spoilers, and I was like, it's not even a third of the book. I don't think I've spoiled that much for you. I don't think I'd spoiled anything. This is just the stuff that's in those first couple hundred pages, and the book is 1,600 pages. So definitely didn't tell you where the book was going. I just told you what cities we were driving ourselves through. At least that's my personal thought. But I will do better about if I think I've included spoilers. If I think I have, then I will try to put that in the titles. But if you want a couple spoilers, let me know. And let me know which books you would want spoilers for too, because I know y'all don't know what's coming, but if you have recommendations, you can let me know. I'll see if I can pick it up, and we will maybe dive in together. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have not liked and subscribed already, I hope you will. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'll see you all on the next page.